Okay, so this is a story about stories. We were trying to tell a story. Something about a gun that harvested rare resources from the earth. The details were both vague and convoluted, though. The more it grew, the harder it became to see the point. They could use this apparent resource, these like sunstones, to momentarily reveal areas of the world. These stones would be a precious resource. The player would have to use some intuition to feel their way through the incomplete view of the world available to them. It was somehow supposed to be symbolic, but everyone was a little in the dark about what that meant. A phrase game designers often like to throw around to sound smart is ludonarrative dissonance. Basically, trying to make the why of your game blend well with the what and failing. This game had major ludonarrative dissonance. It was decided that an unseen evil lurked in the darkness. The player spent too long not exposed to light, they'd die and respawn at a checkpoint. As the writers spun and revised their yarn, it felt like the mechanics were trying to fit themselves to the narrative, but the narrative was trying to fit itself to the mechanics. It was a real Ouroboros. At this point, I needed a timeout. I was taking on too many roles on this project for one thing, and it just didn't feel like the fun had been found. And on a personal level, everything had this like moody and melodramatic action movie quality to it, which just isn't me. Needed to come up for air, light gun or no light gun. Ah, that's better. So, initially, when prototyping this light gun mechanic, there was no lifespan on the projectiles. You could just shoot as many as you'd like. And I made the mistake of setting them up in such a way that they'd stick to anything in the game, including themselves. Try it. You can make these weird little snaky sculptures and create bridges. It's janky and imperfect, sure, but maybe we could get somewhere more interesting with this. So this was kind of cool, right? We got somewhere, and I don't know. I think it feels more engaging, but now we've totally lost any narrative. Where do you go from here? Okay, so you come back and you ask yourself, what am I even doing? And you throw out that idea too. Sometimes you just need to shelve an idea and wait for it to stew in your brain to be remembered at a later time with fresh perspective. Once upon a time, I made a grappling hook gun. Maybe we should revisit that idea instead. Click and hold to use the grappling gun. This is definitely neat, but it's also something I've seen before in a lot of games. I wanted to make unique games, but in 2023, how is that even possible with such an oversaturated scene? With each iteration, it felt like I was losing my grip on what I was trying to accomplish. You made it. Good job. You know, making video games is such a complicated process. I don't even know what to say right now. Let's just jump in that tube and see where it takes us. I was afraid of this. We're back at the start, like the very start of development. Games are kind of the most paradoxical artistic medium. Simultaneously, the most accessible while being astronomically complicated to execute. But, like any artistic practice, this process of folding the dough of creative labor in on itself over and over and over, this is what it's all about in a way. Iterating and learning and applying, refining or redefining the craft and making strange and sometimes wonderful discoveries along the way. There is no true finished. When a work is deemed complete, it only marks the intermission, a pause between where we began and where we're headed. We'll make new games, play other people's games, and together pool these experiences and methods. So here's my live, laugh, love final statement about all of this. The game is not to win. The game is to play.